One way to solve a system of equations is by eliminating a variable. In plain English, what this means is that if we start, for example, with these two equations with two unknowns, it's usually going to be easier for us to solve just one equation with one unknown or one variable. To do this, we're going to need to pay close attention to our coefficients. Coefficients are the numbers that are in front of our variables. Coefficients for x in this problem are 9 and 5, and the coefficients for y are -6 and 5, or +5. I'm going to use these two coefficients. What we're going to want to do is to get both of these coefficients to have the same absolute value, but opposite signs. And we're going to want that absolute value to be the lowest common multiple of these two coefficients. So we have to think about that for a second. The lowest common multiple of 6 and 5 is 30. We'll want both of these coefficients to be 30. And we'll want one to be +30 and the other to be -30. Since this is already a -6, we just need to multiply by a 5 to get -30. This is 5, so we need to multiply by 6 to get a +30. And distribute and see how that works. When we multiply the 5, we have to distribute it across all of these terms. 5 times 9x is 45x. 5 times -6y is -30y. And 5 times 15 is 75. We also have to distribute the 6 across all of these terms. 6 times 5x, I keep forgetting the x here. 6 times 5x is 30x. 6 times 5y is +30y. And 6 times 25 is 150. Now, like I said earlier, we're going to be able to eliminate a variable. We're going to do that in this problem by adding everything, all of the like terms in these equations. These two are like terms. These are like terms. They're both terms that are multiplied by y, and these two terms are constant. So first, let's add these two. That'll give us 75x. If we add these two, since they're opposite, we can simplify them or cancel them. And if we add our constants, we're going to get 225. Now we just need to get the x by itself. Since they multiplied by 75, we want to divide both sides of this equation by 75. We can simplify the 75 here. Now the x is by itself like we wanted. And if we divide 225 by 75, we get 3. Now we're not finished because we need both variables. We've got the x, but we also need the y. But this is important because now we're going to be able to write x write 3 whenever we see x. So we go back to either one of these equations. I'm going to choose the first one, and I'm going to write it again. But I'm not going to write 9 times x. I'm going to write 9 times 3 instead. I'm going to replace or substitute 3 in place of x. So that'll be 9, again, not 9x, but 9 times 3. But still minus 6y, and it's still equal to 15. We can simplify this. 9 times 3 is 27. Rewrite the rest of the problem. And now we want to get the y by itself. We want to isolate that. This is +27, so we'll want to subtract 27 from both sides of this equation. We'll be able to cancel these. We're left with -6y, and 15 minus 27 is -12. Now to get the y by itself, since it's multiplied by -6, we want to divide both sides of this equation by -6. We can simplify the -6. We're left with the y by itself like we wanted. Of course, a negative divided by negative is going to be +2 in this case. Now we want to write our answer as an ordered pair. And just as in the alphabet, x comes before y, so the 3 will come first, and and the 2 will be our y coordinate.